We're joined today by Mitch Clarke. Mitch, thank you so much for coming.
So I'm Mitch Clarke. I'm from Vermont originally. Came down to Philly, the great city of brotherly love, for college at Drexel University. Um, and then the past 2 years, I've been working, starting my professional career at Bryn Mawr Trust, doing like international services through them.
What brought you to Bethesda Project? What inspired you to become a volunteer here?
Well, I kind of went through, I guess, what most people do after graduation is you kind of lose that sense of community a little bit. You have that the college, obviously, with a lot of opportunities, both professionally and socially, as well as volunteering. And then, kind of once I got settled with my feet under me with the job, I was looking for. I wasn't really. I guess I wasn't really sure what I was looking for, but something that provided community because, as I said, I grew up in Vermont, so it's very community oriented. And then being out in the real world is a little scary. So when I started looking for opportunities to volunteer, I've always been interested in the lesser served or the homeless community. That was part of what I was doing at Drexel as well. And then actually one of our customers is involved with the Bethesda Project, and they mentioned it to me. And then kind of ever since I inquired about it, it's been a great time.
And then could you talk a little bit about your role, some of the things you've done for Bethesda Project?
Yes, so I'm fairly new here. I think I've been volunteering for about 8 months, and I started the process just like any other person applying to be a volunteer through the website. Pretty easy process. And then quite quickly, I got word of the Young Professionals Advisory Board at Bethesda. It seemed like a great opportunity to kind of dive headfirst into doing a little bit more than just volunteering with Bethesda, mostly because I want to surround myself with people, like-minded people my age, but also I quickly realized that there's a great kind of organization to be a part of, and volunteering wasn't going to kind of do it for my appetite. So yeah, I've been part of the Young Professionals Advisory Board for probably 6 months now. And then I generally, prior to COVID-19, I would be volunteering at the Bethesda Project at our brother's place, and then as well as Bethesda Project at Connolly House. And usually like once a week was what I was trying to get for a schedule. I was looking forward to the great summer this coming up with the picnic that I heard great things about. Unfortunately, wasn't able to be a part of that as it was virtual, but yeah, I've mostly been a part of the Young Professionals Board, and then just attending events.
Could you talk about some of the, more specifically, the Young Professional Advisory Board? Like, what role does it serve? What are some of the activities that they do?
Well, so the board was kind of created, I think it was 2 years ago now. And from what I understand it to be is, so you have the regular board of Bethesda, and creating events for Bethesda, but they wanted to tap into kind of the younger community here in Philadelphia, and build that kind of grassroots movement with younger professionals. And so kind of our role is to support the organization, obviously in any way we can and volunteer, but then also to create our own fundraisers and events for both the residents as well as our own friends and social network, to raise awareness for Bethesda Project as well as money. But what kind of comes down to is just having fun, to be honest, and having a positive impact while doing so.
Yeah, we love our Young Professional Advisory Board, or YPAB as we call it, because we love our acronyms, right? But yeah, and also, yeah, a little bit on hold with on-site volunteering on hold, but I know YPAB also has helped out with some in-person events as well when we've done those, and we're, I think, trying to creatively think about ways to continue those virtually. So do you want to talk about maybe some of the stuff you've done independently then too at Bethesda Project Brothers Place?
Yeah, sure. So specifically at the Brothers Place, it was just so happened to be only like a couple blocks from my apartment. So I'd go over there on the weekends and help serve food to the residents. So they get 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I'd usually go for 1 or 2 days over the weekend and serve one of those meals. Quickly found out that it's less about what you provide as far as labor and more just connecting with people, having someone they can smile and talk to, and try to add any expertise I can in the cooking realm, but it's not much. So yeah, it's only like probably 2 hours each meal. You're there to help prep some of the food. Most of it's already created by the chefs at Bethesda, our brother's place. We're pretty great chefs for what they're working with there. Pretty big kitchen, and then serving the meals to the guys, and then obviously helping clean up.
Great. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about some of those interactions, kind of how that's affected you a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. So I guess just the way my parents raised me is just to kind of treat everybody the same. And oftentimes what I found in my life is the happier people and the better stories tend to come from lesser fortunate people. They've lived pretty crazy lives. So that's kind of where my curiosity is just kind of learning their stories, hearing where they've been, what they've done, and maybe a little bit about how they ended up where they are. Because it's very often not the same story. And it's not something oftentimes not a story you would have thought of on your own. So it's just kind of interesting to hear where the guys have been from and kind of what their thoughts are on what Bethesda is doing for them.
But what impact would you say that volunteering at Bethesda Project, in the different capacities you have, what impact has that had on your life?
Well, it definitely gives you a different view on life and what you have. Being a fortunate person with a roof over my head, and then also it's just nice to see Philly in a different light. I got the Drexel experience, obviously nightlife, social life, and then professional experience. But these are the people that are living on the streets, literally and figuratively. So it gives you a different perspective of what Philly has to offer. And just selfishly, it gives me kind of a smile every time I see somebody there, At the community I had spoken to about earlier definitely provided a community feeling for me, both with the residents and the volunteers and staff like yourself. It's been a great experience.
What keeps you coming back then?
I mean, you guys, like I said, you guys always put a smile on my face. Just kind of the joy that you see when you're cracking jokes with somebody at either Bethesda Project at Brother's Place, or I really enjoyed my experience at Bethesda at Conley House. Just a little bit more personal, interactive. We were kind of making sandwiches with the residents, and generally those residents are a little bit closer to life on their own. So they've kind of been through the whole spectrum of Bethesda, what Bethesda has to offer. So that's kind of interesting to hear from them. I definitely say Conley House was one of my more enjoyable volunteering experiences.
Do you have a specific favorite memory of any of those experiences?
The yearly banquet that Bethesda put on. And generally it's down at Citizens Bank Park, but it was pretty cool to watch how you guys were able to create that in a virtual reality, virtual place.
Or party and auction.
Yeah, party and auction. Sorry, the annual party and auction. So it was my first one, so I was kind of looking forward to Citizens Bank Park, but it was pretty cool to see the president of YPAB, Michael, hosting it. As always, there's always a lot of laughs involved, and it seems like it was very creative in how Bethesda put it on, and it seemed like it raised a decent amount of money and awareness. So that was kind of neat to see.
Thank you. Yeah, I think as we, continue on in our current new normal, we're looking to some of our typical in-person events, transitioning them to to the virtual world. So,
Hmm.
it's a learning process, and we're always looking to refine those. But I think, it was a nice event, and we were able to transition to that virtual
Well, yeah,
world.
and it was pretty impressive how quickly you guys Bethesda transitioned to the virtual platform. Because professionally, I've seen how hard it is for companies with a lot more money to be able to do that. So to see how Bethesda was able to kind of pivot so quickly and then put on such a great event was pretty impressive to watch.
We had good hosts, right?
Yeah, they had good. They're bouncing ideas off each other all
And I think they're gonna hit the road, right? Take it on
night.
the tour. Um, so I was wondering if you could think of one word that describes Bethesda Project. What word would that be and why?
I guess I would say creative. Just um, creating the YPAB to get in touch with the younger generation. Um, like I said, pivoting and having that online option. Kind of every step of the way, there's creative ideas and how you kind of operate the nonprofit, but also how you outreach to the community and try to raise awareness. It's not the same thing every day. It's not you're doing social media movements like this. So just thinking outside the box for how Bethesda can raise money awareness and better serve the residents is what I would say is creativity.
Great. And then I was wondering if you could think about, what are ways that people can get involved themselves? What other ways in addition, to what you've talked about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great question. So they can apply to be a volunteer through Bethesda's website. Extremely easy process. I think you'll be in contact with them shortly after, uh, and I think that's a great first step, just because you get the introduction to yourself. Um, and the thing I love the most about it is there's no pressure as far as like how often you volunteer, what do you do, and there's a lot of different choices. You can serve food if you'd like, but if you want to kind of leverage whatever expertise you have, um, you can write resumes for people. And you guys are also very open to giving somebody freedom if they have an idea for volunteering. So I guess that would be a great first step. But the other thing is, once we get back to a normal, if that ever happens, there's a lot of events, at least for YPAB, that don't require much effort to attend. We have happy hours, we had pumpkin carving. So there's just a lot of fun events that both YPAB puts on and Bethesda. If you don't want to be a volunteer, if you don't feel like you're comfortable taking that step, you can come and just have a couple of beers, and that helps just as much as anything else. So.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much. It's really been great, having you join our family, and with all of your enthusiasm. Looking forward to, many more years as your volunteer experience.
Yeah, I really appreciate you having me and doing this for me, Jeffrey. It's been a great time, as always. Smiles all around.
Do you have any final words of wisdom to leave us with?
I would just say, if you're watching this and you're thinking about it, I would go ahead and get involved, because, like I said, there's no pressure as far as how often you volunteer, what you do. It's really, I view it as it's a selfish move for myself to volunteer, because I get something out of it. It's not, there's no kind of hurdles that you need to get over to be a part of Bethesda Project. It's very welcoming. Like you said, it's a family. I can call Jeffrey at any point, and he's gonna be an ear to listen. So it's a great project to be a part of.
Thank you so much. If anyone is interested in joining us, you can go to our website, www.bethesdaproject.org. You can see information on volunteering, donating either money or items, especially some of our high needs for the summer, and other ways to get involved as well. So thank you, Mitch, so much for joining us today on the latest Voices of Bethesda Project. Once again, I'm Jeffrey Isaacson, Volunteer and Community Engagement Manager. Thank you.